अब हम पढ़ेंगे थोड़ा यूनिवर्सल प्रिकॉशंस कैसे लेनी है, हेपेटाइटिस बी, HCV, इन सब चीजों से कैसे बचना है. So after, good afternoon once again, welcome to this HIV study group webinar. After surviving 2 COVID waves, we all realize that taking precautions and vaccination is the only way to keep ourselves away from such highly infectious diseases. The same things apply to hepatitis B, HCV, and HIV. Before I introduce the speaker, I would like Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am to give us her blessings and some.
बाकी लोग मैडम एक बार बोलिए, बाकी लोग म्यूट कर लेंगे, बड़ी वॉइस आ रही है.
Please mute yourselves, everybody. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
I think thank you, Dr. Divya Singhal. This particular forum is very dear to me because first we started with the HIV in focus, then hepatitis B and hepatitis C creeped in, and now corona has creeped in a very big way. So this is pertaining to all virus, and I find when I compare hepatitis B, C and HIV to corona, I feel वो सबका grandfather है भैया. ठीक है, so this is जिसने कोरोना को झेल लिया वो सबको झेल सकेगा. So this is what it is that that crystallizes everything very easily. But I wish to just tell you that मुझे ये बात छोटी सी याद रहती है कि आज डॉक्टर रूबी बात करेंगी नीडल स्टिक इंजरी के बारे में, क्या मैनेजमेंट होना चाहिए. तो जब मैं पहली बार पढ़ रही थी इसको, I was surprised that 1 in 3 chance is there as for the hepatitis B is concerned to get it problem. Hepatitis C में 1 in 30 और HIV में 1 in 300. So I think one should really not get worried about it. Here I wish to tell you that as for the hepatitis B is concerned, एक TB और एक hepatitis B. 1/3 of the world population has hepatitis B. 1/3. And unfortunately, the incidence of carrier varies between 5 to 10, but average is 5%. And ये जो carriers हैं, these are the real troublemakers. They make trouble for others and they make trouble for themselves. Cirrhosis, liver cancer, all are related to that. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C has come only very recent times only. Majority it is asymptomatic. Hepatitis B अगर 30% में है, तो hepatitis C 3% of the global population में. Majority time it is asymptomatic, but again the carrier state is known and its relation with cirrhosis and cancer is also known. So I think it is very important. 1 in 3 people are going to have hepatitis B problem. So it is very important that we must screen all patients who are going for surgery. And that is why you see in all corporate hospitals, चाहे आप एक DNC करो, चाहे एक section evaluation करो, viral markers जरूर करने पड़ेंगे. And this is the reason that you need to get viral markers done. And I am glad that hepatitis C also they have sent. Today we have great experts, and I would like other experts to make a comment before Dr. Pathak chips in for presentation and Dr. Ruby chips in for presentation.
So Dr. Abha Sood and our other experts are Dr. Abha Sood, who is President DGF Northwest, Dr. Kishore Rajolkar, President DGF Outer Delhi, and we have me also. So I would like to request Dr. Kishore Rajolkar to say a few words and Dr. Abha Sood to follow.
It is as Dr. Sharda Jain said, that hepatitis B, hepatitis C and HIV all are quite dangerous. And she said that in HIV 1 in 300. If you want to just in very simple terms, let us see what does it mean by 1 in 300. It means that if there are 300 HIV positive patients and you get a prick from one of them, this is the chance of getting it. So therefore the chance is very, very low. Because 300 में से अगर किसी उनमें से एक का आपको प्रिक होता है तब आपको चांस है मिलने। तो देयरफॉर इट इज नॉट दैट, बट हेपेटाइटिस बी इज वेरी 1 in 3, इट इज जस्ट टू मच। सो एंड बट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि जो HIV हम सब डरते हैं बिकॉज इट अल्टीमेटली आफ्टर अ फ्यू इयर्स it can be fatal also, and in hepatitis B generally person can remain healthy, थोड़ा सा 5-10 साल ही उसका कम होता है। and another thing about the hepatitis C, which we thought that it is not that much, but in my findings मतलब I did a study, hepatitis C भी हमारे I did it from the blood bank of Sanjay Gandhi, and I found that hepatitis C is as मतलब hepatitis B के बराबर ही है उसका। and one of our anesthetists got hepatitis C, which was very difficult to diagnose, and finally it was diagnosed, and उसका liver तब तक काफी खराब हो चुका था। The treatment 3 years back तक it costed you 85 lakhs. 85 lakhs was the treatment, but today आज के दिन the same treatment is around about 8 to 10 lakhs because India has manufactured all these antivirals. So, but फिर भी it is, I mean, it is like that. So, I think it is very, very important webinar which is going to take place. How to prevent hepatitis? मतलब हम अपने आप को कैसे बचाएं? बाकी पेशेंट को तो हम बचाते ही हैं, हम अपने आप को बचाना बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है। And I have seen it happening to many hepatitis B. I have seen it happening hepatitis C, HIV also. So I think we are going to learn a lot of things.
Before Dr. Abha comes, I will just share with you one thing. I always question, about when I take HPV की क्लास लेती हूँ मैं जब टोटल प्रिवेंशन में, तो एक छोटी सी चीज मैं अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस से बात करती हूँ। मुझे हेपेटाइटिस बी हुआ आज से 35-36 साल पहले। तो मैं जब मुझको हेपेटाइटिस बी हुआ तो मेरी क्लियर हो गई इन्फेक्शन। तो फिर मैं अपने बॉस के पास पहुंची, तो मेरी बॉस ने शायद अभी रिसेंटली क्लास ली हुई होगी, तो उन्होंने कहा शारदा जी इतनी जल्दी ज्वाइन नहीं कर सकोगी डिपार्टमेंट, आपका वायरस जब क्लियर हो जाएगा ना तब आप आना डिपार्टमेंट में। तो 3 महीने के बाद मैं पहुंची, मैंने कहा डॉक्टर मैडम अभी भी पॉजिटिव है। हंसने लगी डॉक्टर पिंटो। तो उन्होंने कहा कि अभी 1 महीने के बाद फिर कराना, फिर 4थे महीने कराया, 5वें महीने कराया और फिर 6ठे महीने में मेरा जाके क्लियर हुआ। तो उन्होंने कहा अपने पीए से कि जाके 8 मिठाई लेके आना, मैडम को भी मिठाई खिलाना, सबको मिठाई खिलाना, कि ये कैरियर स्टेज से बाहर हो गई। लेट मी बी वेरी फ्रैंक विद यू, मेरे कंटेम्पररी थे डॉक्टर धवन, प्रोफेसर थे यहाँ पे ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेज में। He also had hepatitis B at the same time. His hepatitis B was never cleared. He was a declared carrier. He had to leave surgery. He had to go to Kuwait. He had to go to Abu Dhabi and become the principal of one of the medical colleges. So hepatitis B and the surgeons and the doctors must know very clearly that all of them hepatitis B होना बहुत common है, और उसके बाद आपका clear होना बहुत जरूरी है before you can join back. Otherwise, people like surgeons, you become a nod overnight.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for these inputs. In fact, हम लोग अपने patients के बारे में best बताते हैं, but what about our staff who helps us? So we don't get them tested. We must.
To speak, Dr. Ruby also want to speak. Let the comments be there.
Dr.
Then we will have a
Abha,
presentation.
please. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Divya. See, the things are gradually evolving. HIV to hepatitis B, and as already discussed, this has become very important. And when I was thinking about it, a few points came into my mind, because we are not here we will be talking about needle stick injuries, but all the sharp injuries are considered as needle stick injuries. So there are community acquired needle stick injuries also. And as you said just now, what about our staff? I am now worried about my house help also, because the needle stick injury can come from there also. So the community acquired needle stick injuries are probably are also important, and Dr. Ruby will throw some light on that. Then the grading And then we are getting in our hospitals the viral markers before surgery. But suppose the patient is in the window period during that time. So how long to follow the needle stick injury after that, even if the test is negative? And when we get the needle stick injuries, we investigate the person who has got the injuries. So is there any role of sending the needle, etc. also for examination? These are a few points which came into my mind. Let's listen to Dr. Ruby and then we'll clarify further doubts. So thank you very much for this forum and the opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Abha. Dr. Ruby, please.
जस्ट एक या डॉक्टर किशोर ने, मैं जस्ट एक पॉइंट क्लियर करना चाहती हूँ. डॉक्टर किशोर ने जो हेपेटाइटिस सी का ट्रीटमेंट बताया कि करंटली 8 to 10 लाख है, मैं उसी चीज को इंश्योर करना चाहती हूँ कि इट इज नॉट सर 8 to 10 लाख. नाउ द हेपेटाइटिस सी कैन बी ट्रीटेड अराउंड 10-12,000 rupees per month for 6 months. So in India has made it possible. No other country, still in the US it is maybe the 85 lakhs or something. Basically because there it is more than the $10,000. And India is doing in maximum in 80,000. One can be treated with the hepatitis C. And in the government sector it is giving free medicine also. So I'm commendable. And hepatitis C is the one thing which can be
Dr. Ruby,
eradicated.
Dr. Ruby, when our anesthetist got this hepatitis C, and the government, he was not a regular employee, he was an ad hoc. So so we could not get it through the DHS. It costed 85 lakhs because that time it was. So we collected the money, but he had to sell his house, and then we collected the money on that. But now he's fine. He's absolutely fine. But definitely now the cost has reduced. There is no doubt because
now the cost is reduced a lot. I agree.
You are right, madam.
Yeah.
So we are lucky to have such a lot of interaction even before the topic has been spoken about. And now we have Dr. Archana Pathak, who is President DGF Northwest, freshly made appointed president. Congratulations, Dr. Archana Pathak. And she's going to speak on surgical precautions in hepatitis B and HCV positive cases. Over to you, Dr. Archana Pathak.
Thank you, Dr. Divya. Thank you for the good wishes. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to Dr. Sharda for considering me worthy of this talk. I hope I live up to the expectations. Thank you, ma'am. And I'm really thankful to all the persons who are here to listen to me, to my talk. Thank you very much. So without wasting any more time, I'll start sharing my screen. Yeah, is it okay?
Yes, full screen.
Full screen हो गया मैम? नहीं? Okay मैम.
Hide में करना, stop पे नहीं करना.
हाँ जी.
Hide वाला, बस. That's it.
Okay. Sorry for the delay, folks. I'm very
No
sorry.
problem. मैम अर्चना एक ही बार होता है, दोबारा नहीं होता.
चलो, I hope so, ma'am. My topic for today is surgery in Australia antigen HPV positive patients and HCV positive patients. So we must understand the background of the situation. It is one of the commonest infections in the world, affecting more than 1/3 of the world's population. 5 to 10% fail to clear the virus, leading to chronic carrier stage, and about 25% of hepatitis B virus carriers develop serious complications like liver cirrhosis and liver cancer, as already stated by ma'am. One must understand the serological response and interpret hepatitis B serology well to avoid confusion. So now there is a slide which will show us the hepatitis B serology. Now we can understand that this horizontal line shows the months after exposure to the virus, and the vertical line is telling us about the relative concentration of various reactants, which are in the form of hepatitis B surface antigen, hepatitis B anti-HBe antigen, and anti-HBc. So we see that between 1 and 2 months of exposure, the value of hepatitis surface antigen and anti-HBe antigen rises. It is at the peak around 3 months of exposure, and then it comes down, and then again it rises and plateaus after that. Similarly, the anti-hepatitis core antigen, this is rising around 2nd or 3rd month of exposure, and then it reaches its peak around 4th month, and then remains constant. So this slide tells us about the various interpretation of various markers. So a person who's hepatitis surface antigen negative, anti-HB core antigen negative, anti-HBs negative, so this person is susceptible to hepatitis B virus. If hepatitis surface antigen is negative, anti-HBc antigen is positive, and anti-HBs is positive, this person is immune to the natural infection. So already that person has immunity because of maybe the virus or the vaccination. So hepatitis B surface antigen negative, anti-HBc negative, and anti-HBs positive, this person has immunity because of the hepatitis B vaccination. If hepatitis B surface antigen positive and anti-HBc is positive, and IgM anti-HBc is positive, and anti-HBs is negative, this person is acutely infected with the virus. If there is hepatitis surface antigen positive, anti-HBc is positive, IgM anti-HBc is negative, anti-HBs is negative, this person is chronically infected. This is a chronic carrier state. So Australia antigen negative, anti-HB core antigen is positive and anti-HBs is negative. This has various interpretations in the form of 4 possibilities. One is it is a resolved infection, which is the most common scenario, or it is a false positive anti-HBc, so a person is susceptible in this kind of a scenario, or there is low level of chronic infection, or there is a resolving acute infection. Now, as stated by ma'am, the transmission, this is the table which is suggesting that once somebody has a needle stick injury, what are the risks? We already know that hepatitis B is the most common, 1 in 3. Hepatitis C is 1 in 30, and HIV is about 1 in 300. So how are we going to manage the patients with hepatitis B virus and HCV infection? We have to assess the risk of surgery in these patients, because this is the most important step. Now, patients with liver disease, they have abnormalities in plasma protein binding and detoxification and their excretion process, which will have definite implications in the pharmacokinetic behavior of anesthetics, muscle relaxants, analgesics, and sedatives. And we all know coagulopathy is a leading factor. We all are doing tests to diagnose any abnormal coagulopathy. So these changes definitely, they heighten the likelihood of infection. But in most of the patients, the operative risk is not increased because most of them they have preserved liver functions. Now, patients who are infected with hepatitis B or hepatitis C virus, they are at increased risk of complications. And it is more in cases which have acute hepatitis, who have acute hepatic failure, who have severe coagulopathy, where the prothrombin time is raised in spite of giving vitamin K, and platelet count is on the lower side, less than 50,000. If there are cardiac complications in the form of heart failure and cardiomyopathy, if there is acute renal failure, or there are extrahepatic complications. So now the patients in acute phase of hepatitis should avoid elective surgery till the acute phase resolves. One has to consult a liver specialist if at all an emergency liver surgery is required. One should do PT platelets for clotting and LFT before surgery. We should correct any clotting defect if present in consultation with a hepatologist and hematologist. And anesthetic consultation should be taken because most of the drugs are hepatically metabolized. So one has to reduce the dosage. Fluid balance has to be maintained and sodium intake needs to be limited. Post-op, we have to monitor for any signs of hepatic failure like worsening of jaundice, coagulopathy, encephalopathy, and ascites. Liver function and clotting studies should be repeated. If required, monitors renal function in case of hepatorenal syndrome and serum glucose in cases of hypoglycemia. Now, how do we prevent the risk of transmission of hepatitis B and hepatitis C from one patient to the healthcare worker? Now, sharp needle stick injuries are recorded in about 15% of surgical procedures, and around 60% of all such injuries occur while we are suturing the fascia. So it is very important to utilize the highest standards of infection control. We have to use universal precautions and definitely wear protective barriers to prevent contact with patient body fluids. Now, what are the steps which we can take to avoid all these things? We have to have double gloving and regular change of gloves during long surgeries. Blunt tipped needles and stapling devices have to be used. Face and eye protection, goggles to prevent mucocutaneous transmission have to be used. Use of instruments for retraction. One should not be using hands or fingers to retract. It is very, very important to understand the use of retractors. For sharp handling, we should have proper instruments and instruments to remove scalpels. One should not use hands or fingers to remove the scalpels once the surgery is over. So how do we manage post-exposure if one is exposed to hepatitis B somehow? Then if a surgeon sustains a needle stick injury, he should stop the surgery immediately. And if it is unsafe to stop the surgery, then another surgeon should take over. First step should be to squeeze the wound, and the wound should not be on the wound, but it should be around the wound. So one has to express as much blood as possible, and we should wash the puncture site with soap or antiseptic solution. The subsequent management will depend upon the local policies, which are in the next table. So one must understand that a person who's already vaccinated or there is an antibody response status of the individual has to be known. Now, a person who's unvaccinated and non-immune, and the treatment, the source of the person, the source patient is hepatitis B positive, hepatitis Australia antigen positive. In such a scenario, we have to initiate the HBV vaccine series as we do it at 0, 1, and 6 months. And also, we have to give hepatitis B immunoglobulin 1 dose, and the dose is 0.06 ml per kg IM. If the source patient is hepatitis B negative, Australia antigen negative, in this case scenario, only hepatitis B vaccination is required. If the source is unknown or it is unavailable for testing, then one has to definitely initiate hepatitis B vaccine series at 0, 1, and 6 months. Now, if it is a person who is already, if the healthcare worker is previously vaccinated, or it is a known responder would be a person who would be having adequate levels of serum antibody to HBs antigen. So in this scenario, there will be no treatment required if the source patient is Australia antigen positive. But if the source patient is Australia antigen negative, even then there is no treatment required. And if the source is unavailable, no treatment is required. Now, if a person who's previously vaccinated but is a non-responder means a person who has an inadequate response to vaccination. That means the serum anti-HBs levels are less than 10 MIU per ml. So in this case scenario, we will be giving hepatitis B immunoglobulin 1 dose, the same 0.06 MIU per kg IM dose, and we will reinitiate the vaccination of, or we will give 2 doses of hepatitis B immunoglobulin. If the source patient is hepatitis B Australia antigen negative, in this scenario, no treatment is required. And if the source is unknown or unavailable for testing, in this scenario, no treatment is required unless if it is a known high-risk source which will necessitate treatment as if it is an HBs AG positive. So that means we will be giving the same treatment. So if it is a previously vaccinated person and the response is unknown, so in this scenario, a single vaccine booster dose of hepatitis B vaccine is required in patient who is HBs AG positive, if the source is HBs AG positive. And if the source is HBs AG negative, no treatment is required. And if the source is unknown, then no treatment unless it is a high risk source. So if it is a person who who is under the process of vaccinating herself, that person gets exposed to hepatitis B virus. In this scenario, one has to complete the hepatitis immunization in an Australia antigen positive source, and hepatitis B immunoglobulin should be given 1 dose. And if it is a negative source, then we have to complete the series as it is. And if it is an unknown source, even then we are going to complete the series. Now, post-exposure prophylaxis, this involves vaccination against hepatitis B virus and, if necessary, immunoglobulins. As already said, immunoglobulins do not reduce any immune response to the vaccine, and they are given at a different site. PEP may be indicated even if the exposed person has previously been vaccinated for hepatitis B virus. And post-exposure prophylaxis should be initiated within 24 hours and no after than 7 days after exposure. Now, studies have shown that it is possible to prevent infection in 70 to 90% of the cases, either by giving HBV vaccine within 12 to 24 hours of exposure, or a combination of vaccination and hepatitis B immunoglobulin. If a person is non-responder to the vaccination, then one dose of hepatitis B immunoglobulin has been shown to be 70 to 90% effective when given within 7 days. And multiple doses have been shown to be 75 to 95% effective. Any sharp injury or a contamination incident from a possible source of hepatitis B should be followed by a risk assessment for booster vaccination and hepatitis B immunoglobulin. And non-response obviously means hepatitis immunoglobulin precautionary testing for hepatitis antigen at 3 and 6 months. Now, there is a short slide for hepatitis C post-exposure management. Effective prophylaxis is not very fruitful because we don't have any vaccine available. Immunoglobulin and antiviral agents are now recommended, and acutely infected patients should be referred to an experienced specialist for early treatment. Studies suggest that early treatment of acute hepatitis with interferon is 98% effective. One should monitor for any spontaneous and acute recurrence throughout a period of 8 to 12 weeks after exposure. Healthcare workers who are exposed to HCV infected patients should have regular monitoring for HCV RNA in addition to HCV antibodies. It is because HCV RNA testing identifies the acute infection in 2 weeks of infection or exposure, while antibodies tests take longer to become positive. So all healthcare workers must be screened for HCV RNA in addition to HCV antibodies. Now, this is just to highlight the seroconversion with the ELISA antibody. In 50% patients, it occurs within 9 weeks of exposure. In 80% patients, it happens within 15 weeks of exposure. In 97% of patients, within 6 months of exposure. And ELISA is a highly sensitive, but it is a relatively non-specific test. And it has a low positive predictive value in low prevalence population. So always, what I said earlier was that always whenever we diagnose HCV positive ELISA antibody, then we should confirm it by HCV PCR, which is a quantitative viral load assay. Now, this is the summary of what all things I have already said, that for prevention of transmission, we should be wearing 2 pairs of gloves. We should change gloves in a long surgery. We should blunt-tipped needles should be used. Stapling devices also should be blunt-tipped. Face and eye protection to be used to prevent mucocutaneous transmission. Instruments for retraction rather than hands or fingers. And proper disposal of sharps and scalpels. Thank you very much for a patient listening.
Okay. Thank you for an excellent, crisp talk, Dr. Archana Pathak. Any comments from the experts, please?
Dr. Archana, stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes.
Any comments, Dr. Sharda Jain, ma'am?
Many comments. Let me be very frank with you. Gynecologists are totally ignorant. उनको बस एक टेस्ट मालूम है HbA1c कराना है बस. अगर वो पॉजिटिव हो जाए तो वो एक्यूटली इन्फेक्टेड है कि क्रॉनिक कैरियर है, उनको कुछ नहीं मालूम. आई थिंक खाली मेडिसिन वालों को इसके बारे में पता है, हम लोगों को कुछ नहीं मालूम. मुझे जो मोटा मोटा आता वो मैं बताना चाहती हूँ आपको. अगर कोर एंटीजन एंटीबॉडी पॉजिटिव है कोर, तो आप इन्फेक्टेड हो. उसके साथ IgM अगर पॉजिटिव है तो आप एक्यूटली इन्फेक्टेड हो, और अगर IgM खत्म हो जाए तो आप क्रॉनिकली इन्फेक्टेड हो.
कैरियर्स.
ये वाली बात हम कोई भी बंदा यहाँ से 100 अगर 50 लोग देख रहे हैं तो 50 लोग में एक बंदा भी, ये जो भी हम बात करें सब थ्योरी है। तो दिस इज व्हाट आई फील इज आज की तारीख में प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में अगर आप जाते हो तो वो जाने से पहले बोलते हैं कि आप हेपेटाइटिस बी की वैक्सीनेशन लेके आना। कितने लोग अभी भी इस आज हम 2021 की बात करती हूँ मैं, आज कितने गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस में बोलते हैं कि हेपेटाइटिस बी की वैक्सीनेशन लेके आना। 50% पॉपुलेशन जो मेरे को सुन रही है वो खुद भी वैक्सीनेशन नहीं लिया और अपने स्टाफ को, क्लिनिक के स्टाफ को भी वैक्सीनेशन नहीं दिया। तो इससे बिफोर एनीबडी ओपन्स अप, आई विल लाइक डॉक्टर रूबी who has been trained in USA on hepatitis B and hepatitis C कि वो बताएं कि वो कैसे करेंगी। हमारे सारे गायनोकोलॉजिस्ट को पढ़ाना है आपने।
One thing I want to say that it's not only the vaccination, the antibody titer is equally important.
Yes,
I may be
but we don't get it done.
Yeah.
This is what she said, you know, if the titer is less than 10, you need to take a revaccination.
Yes.
पर हम लोग कहाँ करते हैं? हम लोग तो
Madam-
एंटीबॉडी ही नहीं कराते डॉक्टर साहब।
हाँ,
सिंपल
मैंने-
टेस्ट अवेलेबल है, रूबी बताएगी सिंपल। हिंदी में बोलना, अंग्रेजी में मत बोलना जिसको सबको समझ आए।
मैम एक्चुअली वही प्रॉब्लम है, इवन डॉक्टर्स आर द मोस्ट इग्नोरेंट। अगर मैं तो पिछले मेरे ख्याल से 15 साल से हेल्थ चेकअप डिपार्टमेंट में हूँ और एम्प्लॉयज हेल्थ चेकअप भी सारा मेरे अंडर में आता है। जब भी हम देखते हैं कि हेपेटाइटिस बी वैक्सीनेशन की बात आती है, बहुत सारे स्टाफ, डॉक्टर्स, नर्सेज कहेंगे हमने लिया हुआ है, डेज किसी को याद नहीं है। किसी ने 1 डोज लिए हैं, किसी ने 2 लिए हैं, किसी ने 3 लिए हैं, 3 भी लिए हैं, परंतु एंटीबॉडी टाइटर किसी ने नहीं कराया। बिकॉज वैक्सीनेशन एंड इम्यूनाइजेशन दोनों डिफरेंट चीजें। वैक्सीन लग सकता है परंतु उसके अगेंस्ट आपकी बॉडी में इम्यूनिटी बनी, एंटीबॉडीज बनी कि नहीं बनी, ये है। और ये बहुत कुछ डिपेंड करता है कोल्ड चेन पर, कोल्ड चेन ऑफ वैक्सीन की। आज हम कोविड वैक्सीन के में कोल्ड चेन के लिए इतने फिक्रमंद हैं, परंतु जो है सेम अप्लाई फॉर दी हेपेटाइटिस बी, सेम अप्लाई फॉर दी अदर वैक्सीन, पर उसके लिए कोई भी इस तरह की जो है प्रिकॉशंस नहीं लेता है। तो ये बहुत सारी चीजें। और जो जैसे मैडम ने भी बताया कि नॉन रेस्पॉन्डर की पॉपुलेशन भी करीब 3% है जो कि नॉन रेस्पॉन्डर हैं। तो अगर एंटीबॉडी टाइटर नहीं कराएंगे, पहली चीज तो वैक्सीनेशन 3 फुल डोजेस 0, 1, 6 के अंतराल पर, उसके बाद जो है एंटीबॉडी टाइटर। अगर आपका एंटीबॉडी टाइटर अच्छा है तो इवन आजकल की डेट में बूस्टर की भी कोई जरूरत नहीं है, अगर एंटीबॉडी टाइटर अच्छा है। अगर एंटीबॉडी टाइटर नहीं है तो इधर यू रिवैक्सीनेट, एक बूस्टर लीजिए, और या आप नॉन रेस्पॉन्डर में आ जाएंगे। तो आपको अपना प्रोफेशन थोड़ा सा शिफ्ट करना पड़ेगा या एक्स्ट्रा प्रिकॉशन लेना पड़ेगा फॉर टू प्रिवेंट द निरलिस्टिक इंजरी और फ्रॉम द हेपेटाइटिस बी। सो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। हेपेटाइटिस सी के लिए डेफिनेटली हमारे पास अभी तक कोई प्रोफाइलैक्सिस कुछ नहीं है, परंतु एज डॉक्टर किशोर भी ने भी बताया कि अभी हमारे पास बहुत अच्छा ट्रीटमेंट है। 6 महीने के अंदर हेपेटाइटिस सी वायरस इरेडिकेट, फुल्ली क्योर है। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, परंतु उसके लिए आपको अपना प्रोटोकॉल जो है बहुत अच्छी तरह से अप्लाई करना होता है। निरलिस्टिक इंजरी, अगर मैं बात करूं कि निरलिस्टिक इंजरी कितने % रजिस्टर होती हैं, तो ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। मेरे ख्याल से सबको कितनी बार निरलिस्टिक इंजरी हुई होगी, परंतु किसी ने अपने आप को उस प्रोटोकॉल में नहीं डाला होगा। इन्फेक्शन कंट्रोल किया, उसमें जो है आपकी टेस्टिंग होती है और आपका जो है फर्दर पेशेंट की टेस्टिंग है, तो वो सारी चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसको जो है नोटिफाई करना। दूसरी चीज मैं एक जो मैडम ने अभी प्रेजेंटेशन में बोला, मैडम आई विल डिफर टू इट कि पोस्ट मतलब एक्सपोजर होने के बाद स्क्वीज करना, आई विल
बिल्कुल नहीं करना है सर,
स्क्वीजिंग,
ये नॉट
recommend the squeezing. Squeezing means कि you are giving the more injury, and this virus can go up, means कि it can go to the blood stream. It just should be flow. I will add this. I will just tell this in my HIV neurologic injury presentation. So never to never squeeze. Not to put the finger in mouth. Never squeeze. दूसरी चीज, not to use antiseptic. That
No
is,
use.
आपने ये भी बोला कि antiseptic solution. So I will not again recommend any antiseptic solution. Again, it will create the burn. मीन्स कि थोड़ा सा भी जलन वाली सिचुएशन होगी तो वो अगेन आपको और इंजरी देगा। सो हम सिर्फ सोप एंड वाटर एंड रनिंग इन द रनिंग वाटर, जस्ट वॉश द हैंड इन द रनिंग वाटर, नो स्क्वीजिंग, नॉट पुटिंग फिंगर इन द माउथ, nothing should be done. Only in the let the blood just flow. Let the blood itself flow. अपने आप से खून बहे, उसको स्क्वीज करके निकालना नहीं है, क्योंकि खून है भी नहीं तो उसको ज्यादा दबाना नहीं है. तो ये जो है पॉइंट बस कुछ मैं रेज करना चाहती थी, और बाकी मैं अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में इसको फिर से क्लियर करूंगी.
डॉक्टर साहब, मैं आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहती हूँ. वैक्सीनेशन तो बहुत सस्ता है, आप ये बताइए एंटीबॉडी जो टेस्ट होता है, सारे जो लोग सब सुन रहे हैं, तो ये एंटीबॉडी कितने पैसे का टेस्ट होता है?
मैम, 300-350 रुपए का टेस्ट है, नॉट वेरी कॉस्टली.
चलिए, अच्छा, तो ये वाला टेस्ट हो गया. दूसरी चीज है, सबको रिक्वेस्ट है कि कोई भी स्टाफ आपके यहाँ ज्वाइन करता है, सबको हेपेटाइटिस बी का वैक्सीनेशन दिलवाना है आप.
यस, और कोविड एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट 1500-1800 रुपए का है. लोग जो है कोविड एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट करा रहे हैं, परंतु हेपेटाइटिस बी एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट नहीं करा रहे हैं. ऑल अबाउट द माइंडसेट.
हेपेटाइटिस बी का वैक्सीन है, इट इज वेरी चीप, इट इज वेरी चीप, एंड वो मतलब एक्चुअल कॉस्ट इज 25 रुपए उसकी एक्चुअली. और देयरफॉर आई थिंक इट कैन बी गिवन, आई मीन बिकॉज इन ऑल द हॉस्पिटल, जैसे संजय गांधी वगैरह में, तो हमारे पास तो बिकॉज बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट, आई वाज द इंचार्ज फॉर दैट आल्सो. सो हमने हर एक का हमें देना ही पड़ता है, बिकॉज वी हैव टू फॉलो ऑल दिस थिंग. तो आई थिंक गवर्नमेंट में तो सब जगह है, एंड हेपेटाइटिस बी इज गिवन टू all the most of the, I mean I don't know बाकी का, but संजय गांधी हर एक को we have given. I think this can be followed in all the hospitals कि मतलब one has to produce a certificate कि तुम्हारे को हेपेटाइटिस बी लगा हुआ है, कि only then you can work. That should be there. और there is no need for antibiotics.
हमारे में भी है, that certificate is essential.
बहुत जगह होगा मैडम, होगा जरूर
All
होगा.
the NABH accredited hospital, this is the mandatory thing to give the hepatitis B vaccination to all your employees. So that is why it's mainly problem in the small nursing home or the small setup where they are not following this.
In fact, even pregnant healthcare workers can receive hepatitis B vaccine. So over to you, Dr. Ruby Bansal.